Blog Talk Radio.
And welcome to Soul Sister Show with hosts Sue and Ann. And today we have Thursday, February 18th, 2021. So we are progressing with the new year, right? And we are a live call-in show, so call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, and you can call in for questions, or why not share a story with us, or anything spiritual, or why not get a free mini reading live on air. So if you want to talk with us live on the show, remember to press 1. Or you can also go to scrollsofthesoul.com/live, where you can listen live on the player and text chat with us in the chat room during all our shows. So scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And I'm Ann, coming to you live from Stockholm, Sweden today. So I traveled back from Greece, and I'm really a little bit tired, so bear with me today. But when I'm tired, I'm usually funny, so maybe we get a laugh or two here, as usual. And on today's show, we will discuss numerology, plus your calls for questions and mini readings live on air. And we would love to talk to you, so call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, or you can join us in the chat room at scrollsofthesoul.com/live, scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And remember, if you call in with 213-943-3587, remember to press 1 so that we see that you want to talk with us, and we bring you on live on the show with us. And we are always a live call-in worldwide radio, broadcasting today from Arizona in the U.S. and Stockholm, Sweden. And now here it is a little bit colder than Greece, but that's natural, isn't it? And a lot of snow, but not too cold. I think maybe it's around 0, 1 degree, or 1 - something of that nature. So it's okay. And once again, now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. So give us a ring at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, and we take your calls for questions or free mini readings, or just to chat with you a little bit. Share a story with us. And remember to press 1 to talk with us live on the show. And as I mentioned before here, we're going to talk about numerology. And we are always a live call-in worldwide radio. So call in at 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 213-943-3587. And if you haven't listened to us before, we are the show that discusses the Akashic Records, soul realignment, healing modalities in general, and of course we love to chat about any and all spiritual topics. And we have listeners in 27 countries all around the globe and growing. Thank you so much for listening to our show, and it's all continents. It's amazing. Thank you so much. We're honored. And I think actually now is a great time to bring on my co-host for Soul Sisters, my beautiful Sissy, all the way from Arizona. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm good, Sissy. How are you? You said it's cold out there, huh?
Yeah, but it's not too. It is cold. Of course, it's cold, but it's not.
Yeah.
They had kind of -10, -17 around those temperatures. It's not. It's better.
Right. Right.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, you still have to wear a coat, though, right? A coat and gloves.
Yeah, you don't go out and with your feet on the grass, so to speak. You don't do
Yeah.
that.
Right. Hey, I was wondering, is there any snow on the ground there?
Yeah, we
Sweden?
have snow. It's kind of much snow, but actually this morning when I left Athens, because I usually travel within the same day, and this time of the year you can never go directly, so you always have to go from Rhodes to Athens and Athens to Stockholm if you're lucky, and I was lucky, so I had that ticket. You don't have to stop anywhere else. And
Right.
they had snow because they had a bad weather in Athens, unusually snowing, so to speak. And
Right.
I saw snow, and I took a picture with snow. First time in my life I saw snow in Athens. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, it's kind of crazy how all around the world, different places that never get snow are getting snow. Like here in the States,
Yeah.
Texas got snow and rain and ice, and I think they've lost their
Makes one
electricity
wonder
there.
what's going on.
Yeah.
It makes one wonder
Right.
what's going on. Actually, it intrigues me a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, me too. But I'll leave that rabbit hole for now.
Yeah, I know. That's another discussion, right?
Yeah, for another time. But I will tell you, we're having some amazing weather out here. It's really nice. We're having, some cool evenings, but during the day, we're short. It's nice, really nice out. So I like this time of the year out here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be without. Actually, I was joking with a taxi driver today when I went from the airport, and he said, "When are you going back?" I said, "As soon as possible." Okay.
Yeah.
He said, "How many days or hours?"
Right.
In fact, I said, "You can turn around and go back here."
Yeah. I bet. Well, for now you got to do what you got to do. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay here too. So you can call yourself being rich in that sense. I can travel and change environment. So yeah, I can enjoy that. I see the good stuff with that too. So
Right.
Well, everybody listening, thank you for your patience. And now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. Call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, and we take your calls for questions, or if you want to chat with us, or if you want to share a story with us, anything spiritual, or why not get a free mini reading live on air? And who says no to that, right? So press 1 to talk with us live on the show, or you can also go to scrollsofthesoul.com/live, where you can listen live and text chat with us during the show. And if you'd like to connect with me, Anne, or Sue for a personal paid reading, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue or scrollsofthesoul.com/Anne. And of course, there's a lot of info at scrollsofthesoul.com. And before we move on with today's show, I know that Sue wants to remind us what last show was all about. What did we do last week, Sue?
What did we do? No, I'm teasing. Last week we always try to pick something to talk about, even though it's open mind. And we chose the chakras. Now, we didn't get through all the chakras, So we may end up doing a part two. So to try to get through the rest of them. Last week we talked about 1 through 3, and then probably next month, maybe the second week, we could go part 4 or chakra 4 through 7.
Part 2.
And just part 2, right. And just kind of let everybody know, if you don't already know, what the chakras are and what they mean, and what they mean for us, for those who read them and can see them. And there's a lot of good information you can get just from the chakras. So one of the things,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. No, you go ahead. Yes.
I was just going to say, one of the things that's kind of obvious to those who can see them are when they're not spinning in the proper direction, or they're spinning kind of slow. That's also an indicator that something's going on with the chakras.
Yeah.
And the area that the chakra is sitting.
Yes, and also if they are out of sync with each other, because they don't actually have the same speed, but they are synchronized. So all of those things can tell us where we may have some blockages or things to work with, or so it's a great key. And the chakras are the body's energy centers.
Right.
And then we have the soul's energy centers that are something different, right? Isn't that intriguing?
Right. Oh yeah. No, and they're just as much information on the soul level, when we go that direction, when doing soul realignment. So they're both really intriguing. I find it quite fascinating to work on someone. And you know what I really love, quite honestly, because this is the part of Reiki and some of the tools that are used in Reiki. And not everybody uses that. It's just some people like to, because it's kind of a help as a practitioner. Other people tend to just see a location of disruption in the body. But what I'm always amazed about, just with the aspect of Reiki, is doing distance healing, because that is incredible to me visually, what I can see when doing that. And just as an example, when sending Reiki to someone who's requested it, what I end up not only seeing, but I can physically feel energetically the body, organs, and the whether it's cool in that area, whether it's warm in that area, or if it's too cold or too warm. Those are huge indicators for me. And I'm always fascinated, because when I do that, right, it is as if someone is physically in front of me, that I can physically touch them. So I'm always intrigued by that, by that sensation of feeling that energy. I know I went off a little bit.
It's always interesting, and actually there's many ways you can do Reiki, and you can research through Reiki and find out things, and because the chakras and the soul's energy centers, of course, that's total alignment, but you can combine, if you have the tools in your toolbox that you learned and you are skilled in, then you can combine everything, and you can find out quite a lot of stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay. Reviewing some things as we're both going silent here. We don't want dead air.
That's okay.
So if you didn't get a chance to listen, you can go into last week's, go over to scrollsofthesoul.com/past and listen into the topic about chakras that we were talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Sissy, is there anything else before
And
bring on the
now
topic?
I hear a little bit of a background noise with you. I'm sorry. I always say that. Sorry.
Trying to see. The only thing I could possibly think of it might be is a little vibration of something very small in my kitchen. It might be.
Okay.
It's the only thing I can think of. Because
Okay.
I'm here
That's
all by myself, nice and quiet.
okay. Nice and quiet. Unusually nice and quiet, right?
Yes, I'm enjoying it. Before we get in, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say before the topic, which today we were doing numerology, but I titled today as reverse numerology. And basically, what I mean by that is that rather than using, I'm going to use a set of numbers, but I'm actually going to. These are numbers that we used last month on the 21st, and those set of numbers have letters to go with. And what I did was take the letters, figure out what the letters were, and then from that, I was able to create words through that. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I happened to look a different direction. So, yeah, it was quite interesting, the set of numbers, and then what I could create from that.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second, Sissy. So let me get started real quick. So last week, I'm just going to go on, state what the numbers were first last month. And they were 228643, 460737, and then the next one was 15406, and after that was 3781, and then the final one was 8786. So with numerology, it's really fascinating. There are different types of numerology. I kind of went and did some research and discovered that some people use the alphabet, so they use 1 from 26, and others use 1 through 9. And underneath that is the alphabet and how it sits under each number. So that was the one.
Yes.
Oh, and there's one more actually. There's one I discovered that Hebrew, Gematria basically is the Hebrew one. And of course, once I went down that avenue, that one I spent quite a few hours on trying to figure out. I couldn't quite get it, but you know, it was interesting to me. So I thought I would, try to figure some of it out. Anyways, so what I came up with was with that first set, which is 228643. I ended up coming up with, 1, 2, 3, about 18 different words from that. And so I'm just going to throw the words out, okay? Because I was trying to decipher, right? And I thought, okay, maybe I'll create one word and there's a message in that one word. Nope. No, I created a lot of words and not quite figuring out the message. So, okay, just to give you an example, I'm going to read off what the words were. Okay, both, mock, much, hot, the name Tom, Om, and Om is something we would say as Om, right? It's also, the word Om is actually part of, when you take your computer apart, right? And there's different things on what's called the motherboard. One or two different items that are on there are also generate what's called an ohm. An ohm is a scale of measure. It's a scale of measuring as well. So you can also think of when we say, so when we say ohm, in that context.
Yeah.
That's also a scale, right? It's also, you can measure that vibration. Well, it's the same thing on the inside of your computer. The brains of what's in the brains of the computer also gives off an ohm. So yeah, it's a way of measuring. So okay, so it was when that came up as one of the words. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe this is what it it wants me to know. There's something about measuring here. Okay, so just kind of scrolling through some of the words: lock, hawk, dock, duck, luck, muck, tuck. I'm sort of laughing when I'm creating when these words are coming through the numbers, right? I'm laughing. Some of the words that I found are words you've never heard of, and so I had to look them up to say, okay, are these really words, or
is this a real word or not?
Yeah. Right. Yep. And sure enough, they will, or I wouldn't have added it. So I thought that was kind of funny, the sequence.
I'm not saying the last one. I know what that is.
Yeah, right. I'm not. You mean that the one that ends in up, but I'll leave the first letter out?
Yes.
I figured you would get a kick out of that when I threw it in. If you look at all of the letters,
I'm not only the only funny one here. You are too, right?
I knew it was my. I debated whether I should put it, but I said no. I'm going to put it there because I know she's going to pick it out. But I put it right at the end.
I always thought you were very well formulated, formal, very gentle. Let's see, mature lady.
Yeah, me gentle. Right? Yeah. So, nope, I'm completely immature. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let me just get through these. So the word you is there. The name.
Sorry for laughing. Yeah.
Now you can come after this upward. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have put that there. Now that I think about it. The name Bob is also in there. Mutt, cut, hut, buck, mott, and then of course the upward, which I'm not going to say. But so that's just the first set of numbers. Now it's hard to describe to everyone how I formulate this. Not the equation, but where I use the letters. Do you think you could explain that, Sissy? No, don't even try. You know how you derive the letters?
I can try. Yes, because, for instance, I know that I have done this, and sometimes I still do, but I had a period a few years ago when I wanted to find out stuff around numerology. It doesn't mean I'm an expert because I'm very far away from that. But, we try to figure out things that are coming to us as well as guidance. And I have been literally swimming around in numbers from time to time. So I was curious about both angel numbers and numerology and, the science behind numerology. But when you want to find out something, we can put our whole name. So my name is Anne Ingrid Elizabeth Anderson. So now I stated that, but that's kind of a common name here in Sweden, so it's hard to find me anyway. But here we have the custom of having more than one name because we take from grandparents, and there's a system for us, a courtesy to our relatives. And there's a lot of, if you count all the numbers in those names, you end up with something, and you can count the vocals, you can count the other, do you call them consonants? How do you say in English?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, okay. So it's usually, you start, there's a system that I use, I like that system. You count from 1 to 9, and A is 1, B is 2, etc. And it continues, the letters continue to 9, and then they start on the second row from the 1 again. So you continue that way. But when I was looking at the other, it didn't dawn on me. For me, I remember when I played as a kid, we had numbers on the letters, so we could, for instance, I don't know in my head right now, so a letter could be number 26, right? It can be 14, right? But in numerology, as I'm used to count it, you are 1 to 9, and then that's it. But if you look at the numbers after 9 that are coming, number 10, what happens is that 10, that's 1 plus 0, that's 1. So you start all over again, right? And the next one is 11. What does that come to? That becomes a 2, right? So it's the same thing. And that was kind of something I recently discovered. I simply didn't think about it because I was so used to counting it the way I'm used to. But you can actually find out if you write down a question with words. A short question maybe is to prefer, so you don't have to count forever. You can actually find out the energy in those numbers in the question if you translate the letters into numbers. So that's kind of interesting. So you can find out a lot of things. So for instance, I can say a question, how will my trip go tomorrow?
Right.
Because that's a question, and then I can count that if I want to. That's kind of interesting.
Derive the numbers, right?
Yes.
Derive numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or my compatibility with someone, you can even, there are systems in numerology where you can figure that one out so you can compare to people, but you can also measure it with questions. That's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of the two different sets, right, that are created. So I'm trying to help the audience kind of visualize this. So like Anne said, 1 through 9, right? And so when you take it 1 through 9, 1 being A, right, 2 being B, so on and so forth. When you get to 9, that's I. So when you go to letter J is going to be underneath 1, right?
Yeah.
K is under 2, so on and so forth, till you get to 9 again, which would be R. And what comes after R is S. So that starts at 1 again and all the way. I think it only goes to 8 with the alphabet. So the other way, which is the full alphabet with up to 26 numbers, right? And the thing Anne was talking about that was discovered, which would be the long way, the hard way of doing this, right? You can do the same thing, but it would take longer. So with the whole alphabet, we get to number 9, right? And then J. Okay, so that would be I. J would be 10. K would be 11, right? And so you get to 26.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, like you said,
it's becoming
1 plus
the same
0.
numbers. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So 1 plus 0 is 1, which brings you back to the column of A, right? So J would be under A. And then you move to the next one. 1 plus 1, which is K, would be 2.
Yeah.
And that sits under the B column. So that's the long way of doing it in my mind. That would be the hard way because you have to keep adding numbers, right?
Yeah, you have to keep adding numbers. But it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Right.
Because it's like numerology is a very ancient science, you can call it. It's different from astrology, of course. And astrology needed more structure, more counting, and a lot more work. Right. But it has a long history, so it's very intriguing. And there's meaning behind numbers. There is. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, here's the funny part. So through this, researching it and through other people I know that do this, the interesting aspect to the long version we're talking about, I had brought up earlier, Anne, about someone who does this as well. And this person actually, he doesn't add the numbers. What he does is, as a for instance, I'm going to go to W, right? W is the 23rd letter of the alphabet. What he would do is, if he made a word with W in it, right, he would add all of those numbers together. Rather than adding the 2 and 3, that would make 5, right? He actually uses the 2, 3, and then I'm gonna go to the letter H, for instance, and then add the H on with the 23, which would be 31. I'm gonna go to A, which is, I'm looking for the word what, right? So 23 plus 8, 31, plus 1, 32, plus let me find it, plus 20, that would be 42. So that's how this particular person I was talking to Anne about earlier, that's how he derives his numbers. So he takes the total like that with different words. And then what he does is he'll line that information up with things like minerals. Let's see, gold and silver. So he'll get the numbers from gold and silver, and the numbers from, let's say he's doing a specific person, and he'll relate that person's name to an item, a location, a building, a country, a city. It's quite interesting how he does it, but he uses the full number rather than the single digits that we derive to when we're doing it. So it was interesting. It was very interesting how he did it. So
it's always interesting, but it's also a part of math, so to speak. So I think that philosophers and scientists, the old ancient people now is speaking, they figured a few things out because they were smart too. So there's a system. There are definitely things with numbers, both in the logical sense and in the spiritual sense.
Right. And then you take that with astrology, like you said earlier. Now, a lot of, you go back thousands of years, they didn't really have a clock per se. So they used the seasons as one example of a clock, because they could see the difference between fall and spring. Those sundials, using a sundial, they can measure it by the shadow, and that's how they, you knew, for instance, you were going into fall or you were going into spring. But then they also used it for planting and harvesting. So as well as all the planets and where those planets were located at that time of the year. As an example, some planets in the universe, in our star system, are very slow-moving planets. So those planets can move. It could take thousands of years for one to pop up for us to see visually. And they knew that too, per their mathematical equation. They understood that. And then the planets,
that's interesting.
Right.
Wow.
Show up seasonally or show up every so many years. It all helped them to predict the future, what they could do in the future. And it's documented too. That's the other interesting thing. You see all of that documented, as of, for instance, in Egypt, right? At the pyramids.
Yeah.
All of that is documented.
Yeah.
So
it is.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just, as a final, it always comes back to the numbers. Always.
Yes, it does.
Right. That's what's interesting to me.
Talking about planners, I just have to make a joke. And this is a wish, but it's in the sense of a joke. So I would actually be more happy if we had Mercury retrograde every 1,000 years, right?
You and me both.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh yeah,
Instead of a few
everything,
times every
yeah,
year.
then everything electronically would work well, right? We run into
Yeah,
issues.
it would. It would. But like everything else, it's like it's about figuring out, because we have talked about this many times before. There's always in one energy, it's one energy, right? And Mercury retrograde holds one energy, or a
Right.
specific unique energy that may contain many energies. That's a better way of putting it. But there's this, it's always two polarities. So there's the way we can work with the energy that's going to be better for us. So if we can understand it instead of fighting against it, and that's where our human side comes in. I've been
Right.
fighting that for years until I
Uh-huh.
realized, okay, stop fighting it.
Right. Yeah, once you throw the computer, you're good, right? Chuck the computer, you feel
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. Especially if you throw it out the window and then you have to buy a new one. You don't feel
Yep.
better. I promise.
Only momentarily.
Yes.
Oh, geez, Sissy, I just looked at the time. We're at the bottom of the hour. So, guys, who's in the on the board waiting in the queue right now, hang on, and we'll get to you as soon as we can.
I make my announcements very quick, I promise.
Okay.
Okay? So, we'd love to talk to you. So if you haven't called in, now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. Call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number. You can call in for questions, share a story with us, talk about numerology, or why not get a free mini reading live on air? Yes, and if you want to talk with us live on the show, press 1, or you can join us in the chat room at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And you can even ask questions or request a short mini reading in the chat room, so that's okay too. scrollsofthesoul.com/live. Today we are talking about numerology, and we are soon going to start to take your calls for questions and mini readings. And we still love to talk to you. So give us a ring at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, or join us in the chat room at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And if you'd like to connect with me, Anne, or Sue for a personal paid reading, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue or scrollsofthesoul.com/Anne. And our next upcoming show here on Scrolls of the Soul Radio is next Thursday, February 25th, 2021, with Soul Sister Show and host Sue and myself, Anne. And we will be welcoming special guest Jim Ryan, all the way from Spain. And Jim, he have done some new things, so we are going to be just as surprised as you to hear him, what we going to learn about his new. I'm going to update the radio blog with some more info, because he did evolve in many areas, and he have a new kind of healing he's doing. So tune in next Thursday. And of course, we take your calls for questions, and I'm not sure if Jim is doing mini readings, but if anyone would like one, we can sneak that in too. But he does some sort of healing or something that he does online. Same time as usual, 10 a.m. Pacific in the US, 6 p.m. London, 7 p.m. Sweden, and 8 p.m. Greece. And know that you can keep yourself updated on our shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. And you can find past episodes at scrollsofthesoul.com/past. And you can also always find us on YouTube. Search for Scrolls of the Soul Radio directly on YouTube and subscribe. and like our videos. So there you can find upcoming episodes and full past episodes as well. And we are a live calling worldwide radio, broadcasting today from Arizona in the US and Stockholm, Sweden. Cold. Brr. And if you haven't called in, now is a great time to call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number. And if you want to talk with us live on the show, guys, press 1. Now let's get back to the show, Sissy.
Okay. Just before I grab a call, just a quick look to see. I was going to look into the chat room. No questions on the chat.
I don't think we have anything.
Yeah, okay.
No.
And then one more quick thing before I take a call. I just grabbed some cards like I always try to do for our callers and listeners and for us as well. And I actually, at the last minute, I grabbed one more card, and that was from the Archangel Oracle cards. And this one was Victory, and this is Archangel Sandalphon. And so I thought, oh, that's interesting. Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. I thought, very good. And then the other two, or the other set of cards, I got from the Archangel Tarot card, and that was, I have 3 elements here: water, air, and earth. So those are 9 of water, your wishes come true, concerns fade away, and a love of life. So that's one. And then
wow.
10 of air was the next one. And it says, I love these cards. There's beautiful art, imagery, and this one has unicorns. And they're very pretty, kind of roaming through a forest. And this one says, the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect better now. Recovering from an addiction. So that's kind of, an addiction can mean anything, though. We could be addicted to coffee, food, an activity, a little too much of something. It doesn't matter. So that's a very broad word. So I just like to state that. And then the final one is 2 of earth. And this one is too much going on at once. The need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So, they're not bad cards at all. They're quite good, actually. And like I said, the elements are in each image, which is the air one and the earth. The earth one is really pretty. It has a beautiful butterfly in a forest. So that's really pretty. And then the 9 of water, of course, has a mermaid inside. It kind of looks like a lagoon. If you're coming in from like the ocean, you come into like a lagoon area. It's really a pretty card. And then it has all of these little treasures beneath the water. It kind of looks like there's bowls in here with jewelry. It's a very pretty card. So those were for everyone who's called, for all our listeners, and everyone who may be in the chat room, and those who may, and for Anna, myself. So is there anything you had pulled today, Sissy?
Yes, I actually pulled. Actually, I was supposed to pull 1 card, but 3 cards fell out. The number 3. Interesting.
Nice.
But I always look at those cards because they usually have a very strong meaning. So what I pulled is, what deck do I have today? I have the Guardian Angel Oracle cards. So I love that. And I have the Healer of Abundance, Helper of Thought, and Creativity and Abundance. So this is actually a very positive set of cards that's coming together. So it's all about believing in our ability to make a difference, to move ourselves towards our goals, to move ourselves forward to what we wish and what we really want. And having that, starting to reconnect with that feeling that we actually can, no matter how big or small our dream is or our wish or whatever we want, right? We have to believe that we can. If we don't have that energy that we sense that we have the ability to make it, we're not going to, because we already set the limits for it. So we have to believe in that. That is healer of abundance. And along with that comes the creativity. So be creative, guys. It's a great time to be creative. And sometimes we can feel stuck. What's to be creative in this sense? If I have a wish for something practical, for instance. But there's always, being creative is to manage things also in your own way, getting out from the mainstream way of managing things and just do it in your own way, because that's going to bring you more success moving forward, because we all have to do it our way. If something worked for Sue, it doesn't naturally obviously will work for me. It's not sure. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, because I have to tap into myself and follow my path. So that's how that works. And it also feels for everybody that things are going to speed up. It's not going to be a slow pace any longer. So maybe it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to speed up. So hold your horses, guys. It's going to be more things coming, positive, good things. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does. Just to add one little aspect to what you were talking about, when you get into the creative side, and it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you're creating. It's energy, right? So it's it's an energetic energy, but it's a very high vibrational one. It's pretty much lined up with laughter and love when we create. And so we attract that too. There's things we attract. And one of the things you can attract with that type of energy is abundance,
Yes.
Yes. Becomes, it happens for a lot of us actually when we get into that creative aspect of ourselves. Yeah. So, great card, Sissy.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thank you. Okay, let me move over to a caller. So hang on a second.
Yes.
I'll grab a call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, ladies. Pretty interesting. It's Melissa. It's been a while. CO.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Hi. Those pretty. Well, I have a question. Thank you. I have a question about me, but a quick question. Did the Mayans use numbers? I mean, I still have a personal question, but did the Mayans use numbers like y'all are doing?
Yeah, in the form of astrology, though, I believe it was.
That's right.
And astrology, not just astrology. I want to say geometry, but that's not the word I'm looking for. There are several aspects. I think all native cultures all around the world all used a form of astrology because you needed to, as far as when you planted, right? Because that's a seasonal thing. So you needed to understand, the seasons. If it's too cold, of course you're not going to get something to grow, or it's not going to grow to its full potential. So I think every culture around the world used one form or another of numerology. It would make sense,
I think too.
For them too. So what's going on, girl?
Yes, I have a question. It's a friendship / whatever you want to call it. So I want to thank you because I am grateful to the universe that I only asked me about one beginning of that last year, and I just like to be cautious. that is out of the picture.
Okay.
So, yeah, but so the new person that I met, we don't no longer work there, and I know there was like this person. She said she was and anyway, I don't know how to say the question. I don't know how to ask the question. Because a lot of thoughts are in my mind right now. Do you still see us being friendship after he is able to understand or come down? Because there was an older woman who she had no right. I don't know why she did that. I don't know that. I know that one of the higher ups told me she was a gypsy witch. I'm not discriminating nobody.
Right. Right.
Everybody has their own practice, but
right.
Evil is evil.
Do you feel like she used spells that weren't so good?
I just feel like well, I know that she didn't like me. I know she lied to him, but regardless of that, I did send him a text to clear out the clarification of different cultures around the world. You can't trust that. You can't. Happens everywhere. So, do you see him and I communicating? Because we had a great friendship, and then I believe some of the things, but I caught her. I got her with the owner, the 3 owners. I caught her with the other person in charge, and I got her with the law. And I hope. Now he doesn't. He knows about the owners, and because they have to, same culture, same religion.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I've been through a lot, and that's how my. Can you please tell me?
You're having trouble formulating the question.
Yes, please. My gosh, this is you're professional. Can you please answer the question? Do you see him communicating me in the nearby future? This man. He is from a different culture, and I did send him I did clarify him the text of different cultures' beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm getting like, yes.
Go ahead. No, finish your statement. Go ahead.
Getting a yes, surprise, but I'm not getting because again, my emotions is high because this is how negative energy can destroy, and I've noticed from good we face demons, we face negativity. It's always at us at a test. I just for me because I face that a lot. So the question is.
Melissa, if I can, Anne here. Hi, Melissa. We love you. And if I get your question right, as I'm sensing that you really want to ask, if you can maintain a friendship with this person, and that also I caught that you mentioned something about spells and things that may have been going on, and making spells. You can make them, but if you make them, you have to do them as prayers, and you have to do them as for the highest good of all involved, kind of thing, because it's never ever good. You're not going to catch anything good. I don't say this to judge, because it's the spell itself is about. It's like you have the sense there's a lack of something, and you have to try to get it in the manner of the spell, if that makes sense. So the best thing is always to tap into your energy, into feeling with yourself, to be that which you want to attract, so that you can actually be a beam of light that are attracting that same vibration, if that makes sense. But here's the thing. I have a great sense that you can actually become friends, but I remain friends and keep the friendship level. And it's going to be, it's coming like a new beginning. So it's going to be a major change. It's going to be a change for the positive, and that you can find another route and another way of interacting with each other. And I sense that with a little time, with a little patience, some effort and love, because even a friendship holds great love, right? Love has many, many, many faces. And love is not anything bad because it's a friendship. It's not better or worse, or I mean, romantic is better. Sometimes we just meet each other because we are having a great friendship, right? So that's how it feels, and it's going to. I have a sense that you can find a way to be, but if there are any things that are connected to spells or things of that nature, maybe you need to clear your energy around that, because that's not good for you. It's not that I judge, but again, we want to create the purest thing and the purest energy, and if we are doing those things, then we are interfering with things that maybe can create blockages or create some turbulence, chaos. It can be like walking uphill, going against the stream and all of those kind of things. And I have a sense that you're ready, and I have a feeling that he's going to be ready to step into a different kind of relationship, the relationship of friendship. And I have a sense that you hear from him in the near future. I don't know if that answer makes sense to you.
Everything was well said. I right on. Do you have a time frame?
A time frame. I just heard in the near future. So I have a sense that it can be time frame within 6 weeks, plus minus.
6 weeks or minus, perfect. Okay.
Oh my God, Sissy. I have to confirm that. Literally, she asked the question, the time frame, and I wrote 6. And you just said 6. Because I'm taking notes as you guys are talking. I'm doubting with the original question. So I just wrote the number 6 right when Melissa asked it. Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
Now,
crazy.
I can add a little more on that, Melissa, because I asked 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, and I got 6 weeks, okay? Just with that question alone. And just to ask you a question, do you feel like there's some negative influence going on with this to your friend?
Yeah, well, he don't no longer works there. I don't work there. She was one of the bosses that we had to talk. We had to check in with. But she's like that with a lot of the employees, and I faced her already. I reported her to the owners. Of course, the law was in there when I was there. And, so I feel, you know what? I feel, in respect, I feel that she's going to, or she's already in the process being terminated and or going to be in trouble with law as well.
Right.
For some other things.
Well,
what do you sense? Mm-hmm.
Well, what I wrote down when Anne was giving you a reading was the first word that I wrote down was inverted. So what should be right side up would be upside down, right? Or inside out. Like when you do the laundry and a sock is inside out, there's this inversion, right? So that was the first word I wrote, inverted. Kind of like things that should be positive somehow are turned into negative, I guess is the best way to put it. And then influence was the next. So there was definitely influence on her part towards this male you're talking about. There's a lot of influence. Negative was the last word that I came up with. So it felt like a negative influence where it was really just backwards and inside out is the best way. I can relay that info. Does that make sense at all?
Everything is true, yes. And is she going to be in trouble, or she's in the process right now of being in trouble?
That's another thing. That's the time thing. Remember, this has been going on for about a year, and we.
Oh, this is a different one.
Really? This is definitely, and these are not connected to. These are not connected in any way.
You see what I mean? There we go. The other job it's been about a year, and now the law came in, and this is a new job that I was only there for 2 months. That was back, and it ended January, and
right.
And this is just, there was only 6 of us. Him and I were partners in working.
Right.
I didn't flow with him. It was just conversations, and from there he was interested. And she came in there and said lies. She lies to the owner. I found out she was a gypsy witch. I faced her. The law is checking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new one. You thank you for, yes.
Oh, you're welcome. It's just something here. There's just feels like there's a connection, but
evil.
It could be. But here's the key. You just brought up 6 too. So there's something about 6. There's more to this with 6, and I don't know what it is yet. Something more about 6, and it could be the law. It could be that it takes 6 weeks. For this to develop into something more. It may take that long. I don't know, Sissy. Do you have a sense of that?
Well, do you see her being fired?
Okay. Hold on. Let me see what Anne may add to it.
I don't have a real sense of that, but within a few weeks, that's basically the same answer. 6 weeks can be like a few weeks, right?
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Melissa? To
No.
Is it 6 weeks? Is he going to? He's going to call me in 6 weeks. That's basically.
I think everything's going to happen in 6 weeks. It's just a really strong sense. You brought up the 6 during the conversation, and then Ann and I both saw 6. So definitely something. And like I said, I asked, is it 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, and got 6 weeks. So I think it's all going to come to its head, in 6 weeks. Let's see. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to actually check my calendar. Let me see what 6 weeks is going to be from now. So, 2, 3, 4.
June, April.
5, 6. Around 1, 2, 3. Hang on, double check. So it could be around the 8th of March, somewhere around there. The week of March, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, somewhere around that time. You might get an answer. Definitely make sure you get back to her, around that time, about the 3rd week of March, and let us know, if there's anything that came about. Okay?
Yeah. I'll do that. And the clarification is, real quickly, is you didn't get the straight answer that if I'm gonna, we're gonna contact each other in 6 weeks.
Right. Everything feels like it's the 6 week thing. So there's a legal aspect to this, right? And he'll be aware of this. And he may come at you or to you because of it. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There may be communication at that point. I'm not getting any sooner. I asked, is it any sooner? And 6 weeks is what I got. So it may take a little time. Not that we're patient about any of that, right? We're never patient about it.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like, and I'm sorry, is that if there's going to be a legal action towards the woman, why does he need to contact me to ask me?
Not ask, no. It's as if information's gonna be told to you, relayed. You know.
Well, he wants to apologize. He wants to apologize.
It may be. Yeah, I mean, it may be. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like everything comes to its head 6 weeks from now. Both the communication as well as legal aspect, whatever that may be. You know, because there's many things that can occur between now and 6 weeks that has to do with the law. You know, but I feel like this would be a way to start the conversation. You know, for him to communicate. You know.
Interesting. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not really getting anything more on that. That's just about it. It's coming. Is there anything else going on, or how are things going otherwise?
I'm doing okay. I been working on my ascension levels. I know I've grew a lot, and I feel my head right now is vibrating as I'm talking to you.
All right.
I feel like I'm able to catch negativity right away, and when I was doing this, I felt like she's put too many spells on people that nobody was able to catch her. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, that I'm better than anybody else, but I caught her. Like I knew already, and I worked through it. And but I'm doing okay. I was feeling a little bit depressed. That's something that I just noticed about a month ago, that I'm gonna go forward, and I started doubting myself.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been.
When did you, if you don't mind me asking, when did you confront this person?
In January 11 and January 29.
Okay.
The owner.
Did you?
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The owner was not very happy about it.
Yeah.
They're Muslim, and she said this. It already happened. So it already happened. There's nothing that there's nothing that can be done. That's how it is. And I told her, that's your way of thinking. You do not disrespect. What if you like being disrespected? That's you. But no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I told him, sir, I hope you're able to listen to what I'm telling you, because you must have a lot of spells on you, gypsies, witches. Some are extremely very mean, and they do touch your hand, and you're not protected. You do touch her hand. She knows that I know, and I did face her, so she was looking at me evil. I left. He left before I left, like 2 days before, and then the law talked to me before I left. They told me to contact something because they need to get in there. I already contacted them in the process. So I think that that's how I caught her. I can feel it and sense it when I saw her.
Yeah.
And I think you're proud of me, but and she, I can see it in her eyes. She was shocked. That was the first one. I caught it. I caught her. I caught her, but my gosh, look at how evil this individual is. She told him a lot of things that are not true. I tried to speak with him, and he was angry at me. And I was saying, give me a moment to talk. You always give me the respect to talk. He was very nice and polite gentleman. Oh my gosh, I never had that before. I tend to back away or wait, even if I like somebody. And he was confused. He was just looking at me confused. And he prays a lot. He prays to the Bible about the Muslim thing. And what do you? What I hope that he's able to understand because he liked me very very much. He was intrigued. What is your input? That's how I caught her. But yeah, I faced her, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
she
she definitely didn't like it. Yeah, she didn't like it. But with the respect to that last statement you just made, right, about what you saw in her, and now you're starting to feel depressed. Okay, so I have a suspicion, but I don't want to go into it too deeply right now. Do you feel like there's any negative influence directed at you right now? I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, right now, no, I don't feel that, because I know people have. No, I'm just sad because I'm hoping that he is able to communicate with me, because we had great times, and it wasn't him. That's what my little depression is at, because I've been wanting to have somebody, and I did not put much effort to him. He came to me.
Yeah.
And he's not a woman. He's not crazy with women. When I'm very upset, is just a woman interfere by saying lies. I didn't do nothing to her, but I did tell her I will get you.
Okay. That's probably, like, I wrote down a couple of those words, and one of them was influence. So I feel like there's a lot of influence, negative influence around this, but it's gonna come to where it needs to come to, and it's gonna take 6 weeks to get there. It's definitely gonna take 6 weeks to get there. But for you, like you said, you're not quite feeling yourself. You feel kind of depressed. So that's why I asked about, are you sure there isn't any influence around you because of her? Like you said, she's got some dark stuff around her. So
yeah, I'm praying.
Right. Just do that and ask for protection, God's divine protection, your guides, your teachers, your angels, all your assistants to help you facilitate protection, and that you are God's divine child. We're all divine, and that just as an added thing, you can do.
I've seen the back thing. Michael's brother, the back thing, and he told me he hated me because he couldn't touch me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The truth.
Yeah.
But
Sissy,
spirits.
I want to ask Anne what she's picking up here. Sissy, is there anything you're picking up here?
Sorry.
No, a few things, because there are a few things we can do, and sometimes, we can never kind of prevent people from doing things that are negative for us, right, or interfering with us or whatever. But we can, in our own energy. It doesn't mean it always helps and it stops everything, but we can just say no, and we can close our aura, or sometimes we need to have a clearing done, right? We can cut cords with Archangel Michael, because if people are interacting with us, no matter if it's in a positive sense or in a negative sense, right, we always have these energetic cords created. And I think I've said this before. Now when we are speaking here on the radio, we have cords going on. It's natural. We create them all the time. It's energy. But what happens with those, they are going to fade away and dissipate by themselves once we stop, right? When we have people interfering, there may be emotional things. They may be angry. They have their own stuff. These cords doesn't necessarily dissipate as they should. They can remain and they are building up. And sometimes you can feel that or see, if you're a visual, if you have the sight, you can see those cords as something, it's like tree roots, very, very thick. So we need to cut them. And that's why we always talk about that. Sometimes that's not always necessary, enough, right? But it's a very good thing we need to do on a daily basis to keep ourselves clear. We're not supposed to do it with the intention of fear, because if we have the intention of fear or anger, then we're going to create more of that. That's how the universe works, right? But we need to do it because we want to feel okay and not feeling drained and not feeling that there are negative influences. And sometimes, even for those who are very experienced, that can be, you can be drawn into, I usually call it drama, because even if people don't have bad intentions, so to speak, and they want to try to fix something, but they are interfering in things that they shouldn't, and they create with emotions also. So if you think of energy, when we are angry about something, there's a lot of emotions going on, right? So we are creating a lot of things. And sometimes the anger can hold energy that are more than if we feel just happy. I don't mean happy. I mean ordinarily happy, right? So if we understand that and we can use that energy, but I have a sense for you that because you're in a sensitive time and it doesn't always stop immediately, right? You're in this transformation, but you are progressing fantastically. I have to give you credit, Melissa, because it's not always fun. And it's also, when we start the process of being aware and seeing things, we are going to see things that are not always pleasant. But the blessing, because there's always a blessing, is that we are aware. Because we can't clear anything if we are unaware, can we? Does that make sense?
Yes, everything makes sense. I will start doing some more. I've been praying and revoking, and this woman here, and I'm glad that I encountered her. I'm happy to encounter her, but the only negative thing is on the cost of someone that I like. Then I hope that he is able to understand, and hope we can be friends after the thinking process of what he needs to put in together. Because he don't work there. I don't work there. We don't have no connection no more there, but we have a phone connection.
Yeah.
And he can always call me, right? And I pray that I pray that he say he's Muslim, he all that he's able to understand, and that we can still be friends.
And it doesn't really matter what religion we have, because it's formed us from the place we're born within, right? So it doesn't really matter. What matters is how open-minded we are, and if we can accept someone else for who they are, right? That is the thing. So, and if we can step out of our beliefs, and I think one of the hardest things on this path is to step out of the conventions we are born into, and that is wherever we're born in the world, right? Family, country, place, time. Because remember, 100 years ago, society in general had a little bit of different rules and ways of seeing things, right? Perception, and how things should be done. And there we have laws and rules, but we have unwritten rules that we are supposed to follow. So that's what we are taught by family and culture and everything of that nature, right? And then we have religions, and then we have the beliefs. My belief is that all of the religions hold the piece of the puzzle, but no one actually had the whole story, in my sense, because it's kind of had been separated. and maybe there were forces that didn't want us to know the whole picture so that we can grasp it. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that, but it feels like there are so many things, and maybe people over the world have expressed this in different sense, but it's very interesting. But the biggest part is to step out of those things that we have been taught. So of course we strive for being good humans, and we strive to be, show the energy of love to people around us and live in that sense. But also sometimes we need to question and be a spiritual warrior and say, okay, this is a belief that doesn't suit me. Where does this come from? Is it mine? Do I really believe it? Or am I just following this because I've been taught so? Does that make sense?
Yes. I feel Metron is talking to you.
Oh, wow. Maybe he
right?
is. Yes, he probably is.
This is Metron talking. Yes, I understand.
And yeah, go ahead, Susie. Sorry.
I was just listening, and actually, she said Metatron, and I was going through cards earlier. I pulled cards earlier, and I was like, okay, there's too many cards out here. I've got to put some away, because I had too many. And of course, Metatron was in that card that I pulled as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. So that's just a confirmation for both you and Melissa that there's definitely Metatron is a very strong connection to Melissa. You have a very strong connection with Metatron.
Yes.
So
yes.
When did you discover Metatron, Melissa? I'm just curious.
Many months ago. I believe in March of last year, but more clear in June and July of 2020.
Right. What was occurring that you had sought out? You were seeking out angels, weren't you?
I was talking to Michael, and I had a picture of Michael. I was meditating, and I can swear to you that in the window, this light came in right at this bright light came, and the light went straight through Michael, and the picture was like a blue sapphire, and I was like, okay, I'm not hallucinating. I don't do any type of and then I heard Michael in my mind, and it was coming to my mind. Then I did hear Metatron. So Metatron said that Michael to seek Michael because I was in the soul group.
Right.
Wow.
That's
okay. So I'll give you an example of Metatron. Okay, and the card I was talking about was the card is called the Chariot, Archangel Metatron. This is what it says for that. An important achievement, self-discipline, and willpower, public recognition, and we're on the air, live on air, and that's a form of public recognition for you, I thought that was kind of interesting. Not only did I have the card, but I had put it away, so, and I was just kind of curious how Metatron came about for you. Yeah, do what you can as far as research with Metatron, because there is that huge connection for you, and it doesn't mean Michael isn't there. Michael is very much there for you, but for some reason, there's a stronger energy. The energy for you is Metatron. So I'm not sure how much you've researched Metatron, but continue learning about Metatron.
Yeah, he's God consciousness.
Yep. Yes. Oh, there's so much when it comes to Metatron, but I've got to let you go because I don't want to get kicked off the air, and Ann and I are going to need to close it out here. Just keep us updated, okay?
Well, definitely, it's been intriguing. Now you know that evil is everywhere in disguise, and I'm glad to talk with you about it and be ready.
And thank you for sharing. You know, it's not like anyone gets ever fully educated. So by sharing our stories, we help you, you help us. We are grasping more things. We do get into other different understandings. So it's a continuous thing. So it's very intriguing and interesting. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And
thank you.
One last thing. I feel that both are angels.
Oh, don't make me cry.
I'm going to cry too.
It was very sweet. Thank you very much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are. Thank you very much. Love you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Love you, Melissa.
So now we have, love you very much. Sorry, I need to just wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Melissa. We love you always, forever.
Bye, Melissa. Okay,
bye. Yes, on today's show we have been talking about numerology, and we had a very interesting conversation with Melissa today. So if you are listening right now, tap into the replay when it's going to come up in a bit, and listen to the whole show. It's very intriguing. So if we didn't get a chance to take your call, please call into our next show. That is next Thursday, February 25th, 2021, with Soul Sister Show and hosts Sue and Anne. We will be welcoming special guest Jim Ryan all the way from Spain, and Jim has been on with us at least 2 times before. I think a year ago, the last time. So it's about time he's coming back on, isn't it? And of course, we take your calls for questions. And I'm not sure if Jim is doing mini readings, but we should certainly do, so we can always squeeze in that too. That sounds great, right? Squeezing in. And we'll be on same time, 10 a.m. Pacific in the US, 6 p.m. London, UK, 7 p.m. Sweden, and 8 p.m. Greece. And listen to replays of all shows anytime at scrollsofthesoul.com/past. Keep yourself updated on upcoming shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. And you can listen live and text chat with us during all our shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And if you'd like to connect with me, Anne, or Sue, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue or scrollsofthesoul.com/Anne. So, Sissy, is there anything you want to tell the listeners before we end the show?
Just a shout out to my mom and a thank you for everyone who called and listened. We always appreciate it. Angels watch over you all night long. Sissy?
Yes, we do. And thank you so much, everybody, and thank you, Melissa. Love, light, peace, and joy to all of you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.